Alright guys, we are back to the next part of this sort of year-end series, top 10, a bunch of units in a bunch of different categories, right? Free-to-play units, summonable LRs, Dokkan Fest exclusives, all of that stuff, right? So today we're going to be looking at units that Extreme Z awaken. Now, I wanted to do this as a sort of end-of-the-year thing, right? So only, basically units that were out by the end of 2018 or had their EZAs by the end of 2018. In a few days, this list will become outdated, but I think all that's going to happen. So here's the thing. I had a lot of trouble deciding between this Super Saiyan 3 Goku and this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as the number 10 slot, right? So kind of both are kind of hovering right there. STR Gogeta is going to be getting his EZA, and we're going to find out his info only in a few days here. Me and everyone else were all predicting that STR Gogeta will become the number 1 unit on this list. So what is likely to happen, the only change that's going to come to this real soon, is that everything else moves back 1 spot and Gogeta goes into the number 1 spot. I think it is highly likely that is what is going to be the case, especially since on JP Dokkan, both JP and Global got kind of advance warning that big, crazy New Year's banner was coming. But on JP's message, they specifically talked about a new EZA and a new story event coming. The EZA presumably being STR Gogeta, and the new story event being the next stage to farm up that Kid Goku to LR Kid Goku. So, presumably, STR Gogeta is going to be insane, right? So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So we'll start here. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Again, it's kind of hard to decide, who should go where. Here's the thing about Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. He is the best Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta in Dokkan. The tech one is actually pretty solid now, but he doesn't have Over in a Flash, the most common, key link for Super Saiyan 3 characters. That does hurt tech Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Tech Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta does give himself ki, but unfortunately it still hurts the units around him, right? Even though every unit on the Super Saiyan 3 team has Over in a Flash, every unit does still need to get 3 keys. So every once in a while you are, having units miss super attacks. It's not like other teams where, some units might link for 4 key or 5 key. Pretty much every unit across the board, they're just linking, with 3 key with Over in a Flash, right? But that is a big advantage this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta has over this Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because there's 2 better versions of Super Saiyan 3 Goku in Dokkan than this guy. Now, this guy is still absolutely incredible, no doubt about it, but the fact that there are not 1 but 2 superior versions definitely hurts him in the long run. So this guy can hit pretty hard the higher your health is. The only problem with that is that, specifically on the Super Saiyan 3 team, that team is kind of squishy compared to some other category teams. So you're probably not going to have him at full power most of the time. But at the same time, you may have Super Saiyan 3 Bardock's support type passive active, which is 40% to super class allies. So, it's very difficult to sort of place this Goku right here. Plus, he's on many category teams, which is very helpful for him. But, I think we're going to kind of more lean towards Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as the 10 spot, even though that Goku had 500 more categories than him, right? So, okay. Now let's move. Here's the thing, too, about the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. I think they could have given him just a little bit of an attack buff. Maybe attack 50%. Just at the start of turn along with reduced damage. And then he could have gotten an additional 100% when the enemy is stunned or something like that. Because this, you never see this, pretty much ever. So, alright, moving on to the number 9 unit. We have Ceaseless Terror Perfect Cell right here. Now, I am thinking eventually, the 70% God leaders like Super Vegito, Physical Broly, Int Gohan, they might be the next in line to get EZAs, or the 100% leaders, SCR Perfect Cell, Tech Golden Frieza, they might be in line to get EZAs as well. If that would happen, this cell would end up in the same predicament as that SCR Super Saiyan 3 Goku, where there would be 2 better versions of himself rather than this cell right here. As of right now, I think the order of how good these cells are is Tech Cell, Int Cell, and then SCR Cell is at the bottom there. This guy's really good. He greatly raises attack and stacks it the whole time. Attack and defense 90% at the start of turn. Very, very good combined with his greatly raising attack mechanic. The one thing that hurts him is he's only got Revival as a key link. Int Cell and Tech Cell don't have shocking speed, which hurts them a lot. That's why SCR Cell, after he gets his EZA, I can't wait, because he will easily surpass Int and Tech because he'll have that common key link, right? So this hurts Int Cell for super attacking, if you're not going to make like a Cell rotation, link him up with LR Cell or something like that. But here's the thing, LR Cell is not on all of these same categories. LR Cell is not on Full Power. He's not on Revived Warriors. He is on Time Travelers, though, and Androids and Enhanced Transformation. So, on these two teams, you're not going to have LR Cell to work with there. And also, unlike the Tech Cell gets additional ki from Rainbow Orbs, which will help him super attack, whereas this one doesn't have that. He could struggle for ki, but he should be a pretty good offensive and defensive unit outside of that. All right, so moving on to number 8, we have the Int Ultimate Gohan. Excuse me. So I do really like this Int Ultimate Gohan, right? Like Cell, he greatly raises his attack and stacks it, which is very helpful. He also super attacks no matter what, pretty much, because you only have to get him 1 ki, and then his passive will activate, giving him 5 more keys, so he gets a guaranteed super attack. That is very nice. The problem is that Ultimate Gohan units just can't mesh well with anything. There's like no perfect partner for Ultimate Gohan anywhere. Nowhere. Really, the closest you would have, I guess, would be Vegito, but even still, like, because they took shocking speed off of physical Vegito, it really hurts these Gohans, or Vegito himself, right? Because this Gohan, he can super no matter what, but that still does hurt, physical Vegito, because he's not going to share any key links whatsoever with this guy. So Ultimate Gohan units are left in a very difficult predicament. Both Ultimate Gohan units and Kibu units are just shafted eternally. Really, if they were going to make a new Ultimate Gohan, like, enough is enough. Just give him Prepare for Battle. Honestly, with how well Gohan performed in the Tournament of Power, if they would give us a Tournament of Power Ultimate Gohan, I think Prepared for Battle would be very fitting for him, because Gohan was handling his business the whole tournament. It would be very, very good. But for the most part, that does hurt these Gohan units. The lack of categories also is not great. This is basically, like, considering teams that have real category leader skills, right? So I'm not counting the Namekian category or low-class Saiyan or World Tournament. No, nothing like that. These might be the 2 worst categories. Hybrid Saiyan and Majin Buu Saga. I guess, Giant would count as well. Obviously, these 2 are above Giant. But the Hybrid Saiyan and Buu Saga teams are just a mess and badly in need of one of these dual category leader skills, or also a new, like, LR with the leader skill for these teams. So this Gohan, he's really good, but he's kind of left stranded in the wind. No good linking partners, no real good teams to put on. It's just, it's rough for your boy, but he is still very good. All right, so moving on to number 10, 9, 8, 7. Okay, this is 7. We have Physical Full Power Frieza here. Now, Physical Full Power Frieza barely got any buff with his EZ8. Mainly, it was just his stats, right? Like, he went from 15,700 attack up to 17,000 attack. That's, like, the main gist of his power-up. Plus, he gets a little extra defense and 3 ki in the first slot. Now, all of that is nice. That actually does make this Frieza quite viable on a lot of these teams, because if you just put him in that first slot, he only has to get up to 9 ki, which is very, very helpful. Before he was only on the Planet Namek Saga team, but now he's got full power, enhanced transformation, most malevolent clan, especially that new Broly team. I think this Frieza will work very, very well on there, depending on what units you decide to, toss in there along with him. I think this Frieza can get the job done. Very, very good on that AGL Metal Cooler team. The only real negative with this card, I would say, is his atrocious 12 ki multiplier. Like, if that was 145% instead, I shudder to think what damage this Frieza would be able to deal. Because already, on the Broly team, he should easily be able to get over a 3 million attack stat. This Frieza is very strong, and depending on, if you get your super attack off, and, you have the 9 ki or whatever, you have him in the first slot, you're going to be getting some extra defense so he could be a little tanky as well. Definitely a very good unit. Moving on to number 6. I'm getting my numbers all messed up. We have Physical Kid Buu. Now, Physical Kid Buu, it's like he got a tremendous buff, but it's just the units in front of him are crazy, right? that's the one thing to kind of point out here. So Buu does do immense now. From what I've seen, typically this Buu will range between like an 800,000, 700,000 attack stat to like 1.2 million. Usually he's in that range depending on what units he's linked up with, right? If he's got Brutal Beatdown, if he's got Fierce Battle, if he has Big Bad Bosses, common links that he might get. But he gives 2 ki and 50% attack and defense to all allies. It doesn't matter if they're super, extreme class, any category, doesn't matter. It's a universal buff. That makes him so valuable to have around. I'm working on a video. It's taken me the last couple days to do. It's taken a very long time. I'm getting the max attack stat from every summonable LR in one video. One common theme is this Buu is there for several of the LRs because that 50% attack buff, it's just so massive. Like, it makes every unit into a ridiculous hard hitter. And this Buu, really, on all 3 of these teams, he's pretty much the first unit I put in every single time. Like, you get the leader, and then it's like, I've definitely got to have Kid Buu on there. Like, that's the way it works. So this Kid Buu is a fantastic unit. All right, moving on to number 5 here. We have AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This guy, I do think for a while, he did sort of kind of fly under the radar a bit, just because obviously, for so long, the most damaging summonable LR, was a Super Saiyan 3 Goku unit as well. So he definitely overshadowed this Goku at least a little bit, right? But this Goku is fantastic. 70% defense and 120% attack for 7 turns is so good. He will be good defensively and offensively and will be able to tear through most events. This 7 turns, by the way, that's like right where battles usually to me seem to end on like turn 6 quite frequently, right? Like, just enough to where you can get, like, Blue Gogeta to transform all the time, but usually you only do get 1, maybe 2 turns of Blue Gogeta, right? So this should pretty much always be active. He's got a good link set. He's on several teams. One thing I did kind of want to try on the Full Power and Movie Bosses team is I do kind of want to see how well Super Saiyan 3 Goku and like physical full power Frieza could work as a rotation. That's one thing I'm curious on. I always felt like they would work semi-well together. Obviously, many of their links are not going to be able to activate, but they will have Fierce Battle, and they will also have Over in a Flash, which is good enough to get the job done. So, this Goku, very, very good. Really, I would have him higher, but again, the fact that there is a, better version of this guy definitely brings him down a little bit in my book. Alright, so now we move on to the top 4. Really, I would say Cell, Goku, and Kid Buu are probably pretty close together, right? Like, I think they're bunched up. There is a substantial jump to number 3, like, big time. This Cell, usually you could get him, I think, 1.7 million to like 2.2 million, depending how many key orbs is usually pretty consistent for this Cell. He heals 10% HP on super attack, which is nice. He gets extra ki per Rainbow Key Sphere, which really helps him, since again, like I mentioned before with Int Cell, this guy does not have Shocking Speed, which does hurt him a bit. He has Revival, but Shocking Speed really, really would be nice. But this guy, I'm always impressed at how well this Cell can defend. That's one of the most impressive things to me. It only takes 3-4 key spheres, and all of a sudden, this man takes no damage. And I'm talking, even in like Super Battle Road, this Tech Cell is a very, very good defensive unit. That's one reason I've always had him so highly ranked, is because his defense is so underrated. His defensive stat gets so high with only a few key orbs that he's really able to stop, stomp shit out. Like, look at this. He has almost a 15,000 defensive stat. That is 100% LR stats right there. So he is able to completely tank with only really 3 or 4 key spheres. Kind of the underrated part of this tech cell right here. Alright, so now we move on to number 3, and there's a big jump up to the AGL Broly. Now, I did already have this guy on the non-Dokkan Fest exclusive non-LR list, but, you know, I did have to represent him again right here. He's just ridiculous. The first unit to release immediately along with an EZA, and they made him busted as hell. He is very, very good. The way his attack and defensive stats really ramp up. People always get mad when I just call it like, well, not mad, but they always point out like, I just call it like 150%, but because of the fact that the way his passive works, they multiply into each other, it's actually bigger. What is it? It's a 206%, right? Where is it? They have it written here somewhere. I can't see it, but yeah, there we go, 206%. Like, these passives that multiply into each other, which all 3 of, you know, the top 3 units in this EZA list have, just cause these units to easily clear like a 3 million attack stat with like little effort. This Broly also has a very good leader skill for Dokkan Battlefield. You know, he's a pure Saiyan category leader, good enough. 120% is not bad. He's got, you know, good stats across the board. He has great links, shocking speed, prepare for battle, fierce battle, prodigies, very common links. This Broly is just crazy. Like, he's, you know, it honestly, like, on the 2 new banners, it's like, you know, Gogeta's the best unit, I think. Physical Broly is the second best unit. And then, like, this AGL Broly is, like, the 3rd unit on there. Like, I don't know, I guess maybe, like, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is pretty good, too. But, like, on those 2 banners, this Broly is, like, he's right up there with Physical Broly and Blue Gogeta. He is very, very impressive. Now, everyone should be well aware of what number 2 is, and obviously what number 1 is going to be. So number 2 here is Tech Beerus. I really almost put Tech Beerus in the number 1 spot, but the number 1 unit, who obviously you guys might realize, Int Ginetta just does way too much, which we'll get to in a second. But Tech Beerus, I think his new highest attack set, he can either, it's like somewhere between 3.7 and 3.9 million, I believe, on the movie bosses and full power team. This Tech Beerus is just crazy how much damage he's able to do. All he has to do is get hit 1 time, and he is hitting like above 3 million with ease, especially if you have him linked up with another unit that could get a lot of his attack links active. You know, even with the new Broly, you know, you're going to have Prodigy's Fierce Battle and Shocking Speed, which is not bad. You know, you get LR Beerus next to him, which activates all of his links, and this Beerus is going to tear shit up. He also does have a nice little defensive buff, which allows him to not get hit too hard, and he has that rage mode of his, which is very good. Now, one update I also heard, people brought this to my attention, that they made, is I believe now, so Beerus's Fury mode activates for 1 turn, right? I believe when Beerus stuns now, yeah, okay. So when he stuns in rage mode, the stun lasts for 2 turns. So what's happening is you go below 40% HP. It's 40%, right? Yeah, you go below 40% HP. Beerus goes into this mode where he cannot take damage, and then he has a 50% chance to stun, which will last for 2 turns. So you come out of a turn in which you can't take damage, and you go into a turn where the enemy can likely be stunned, completely buying you a ton of extra time, making this Beerus a monster on Super Battle Road. He most definitely will be a top tier option to use when the movie bosses category stage comes out. Tech Beerus plus LR Beerus is just a ridiculous rotation, right? Alright, so moving on to the number 1 spot, Int Ginetta. Int Ginetta just does way too much. Attack and defense 70%. He activates guard against all attacks, so he's effectively, you know, super effective against all types defensively. Then he has a medium chance to evade enemies' attack for 1 turn and attack 40% for 4 turns when guard is activated, which is insanity. So he basically becomes SCR Ginetta, but 3 times better. Like, this guy, Usually, the attacks that I see from him is 2.2 million, but you can easily bump that above 3 million depending on if Turles is on the rotation and other things. He will be dodging like crazy, defending like crazy. When I took this guy into Super Battle Road, I was calling him All Might because they could not touch him. Literally, he would dodge almost every attack. Then when they actually got to attack him, it's double digits. Super attacks would do 10k against this man on category Super Battle Road. He is just the juggernaut. Like, he cannot be touched. So I had to put him at the #1 spot because he's invincible. Like, I can't, like, accurately describe it any other way than that. I would actually say the Int, Hercule, or Mr. Satan card, whatever, probably the best defensive card in the game just because he's got the damage reduction with dodge, and both are, like, scaled all the way up. But then, like, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is really nice, but this Ginetta is also right there defensively. Those 3 units just don't take damage, period. So, there you guys have it. Int Ginetta is #1. Listen, I would be very curious to see what a summonable LR Ginetta would look like with how good this EZA Int Ginetta is. So hopefully we get a glimpse of that at some point in 2019. Thanks for watching, guys. Here, of course, are the top 10 EZAs. In my opinion, I guess I should say. So we got SCR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta at 10. We have Int Perfect Cell at 9. We have Int Ultimate Gohan at 8. We have Physical Full Power Frieza at 7. We have Physical Kid Buu at 6. We have AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku at 5. We have Tech Perfect Cell at 4. We have AGL Wrathful Broly at 3. We have Tech Beerus at 2. And Int Ginetta at numero 1. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.